And good morning. We're coming to you live from Niagara-on-the-Lake in Canada, and wherever you are in the world, it's either good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or it's the middle of the night. So good night. Great to see you here. Just a quick shout out to those of you that came early. Alan, Mr. Lightning, Ian, Rich, Tina, Jess, and who else is up there? Greg, and a few others. First thing I'm going to do today is post some interesting sheet music. I'll talk about it in a little bit. And Merry Christmas to you too, Alan. I will talk about the sheet music after I play something, but the sheet music I'm going to share with you today, I'm going to put that link over in the chat area right now, and I'm going to pin it to the top. And there you go. It's at the top of the chat, and I've just posted on the screen the free sheet music link posted in chat message. That's going to be good until the end of the session, so go and grab that. What it is my very own arrangement of Carol of the Bells. And I'm going to open up with something else, and then I'm going to play you a little bit of the recording of Carol of the Bells, which I did a few years ago. And it's actually on this Christmas album. This one here called, I guess you see it, Christmas at the Piano. It's upside down. Anyway, there you go. And I'll play that for you. It's actually a full band arrangement, or at least piano trio anyway. And so go grab that because, like I said, it's not going to be around forever. So download it. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. It is the last session of the year. I won't be back until maybe the first or second week of January. I haven't quite decided yet, depending on where I am. I'm heading to Quebec for family things. And so because it is the last session, I'm kind of making it an open session. You can ask me whatever you like. If you want to talk about the philosophy of jazz, I love that subject. If you want to talk about specific techniques, chords, soloing, if you want to hear me play something that you'd like me to play within reason, you can certainly request that. First thing I'm going to do is just start off by, once again, welcoming everyone who just joined us, but I'm going to start off with playing one of my favorites from Vince Guaraldi. I haven't actually played this year. It was on my Christmas concert list, which was Thursday night, and I never got to it because I ran out of time. So let me play that. It's Christmas time is here. I know a lot of people play this, and you probably may be a little bit bored of it, but I haven't played it for a while, and I'm going to solo a bit on it. So let's have some fun with it, and I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Make sure you go grab the sheet music. And if you can't get the sheet music right away because the site is slow, just give it a few minutes. It often happens when we send a lot of people to the site. So let me just play this for you, and I'll see you in a few minutes. A little Christmas time is here. Vince Guaraldi. I hope you dug that. Please let me know if the sound volumes are okay, whether it's the vocal mic or the piano mics. Any feedback on that would be helpful. Thank you so much for doing that. And for those of you that have just joined us, Randy, Fabrizio, Lisa, Steve, LG from Nashville. Cool. Nice little guitar emoji. Nice. All right, let's take a look at, and hopefully you went and got the sheet music. Make sure you grab that because it's not going to be around forever. And I'm going to take the link down at the end of the session. So let's go back and see where we are in terms of questions. All right. I'm just scrolling back through the stream here, so give me a second. So Randy says, play something and tell us what you're thinking during your reharms. Okay, I can do that. Hey, from Italy, nice to see you. I'd like to second Randy's request. Okay, well, that's 2 votes for Randy. Would you describe in some detail your improvisation approach in Christmas Time is Here? Such a simple tune, chord-wise at least, yet an enthralling improv. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see what else we got. Can you talk about some of the tightly clustered chords in your left hand? Yes, I can. Okay, so everybody wants to talk about what I just played, it looks like. Beautiful piece. Merry Christmas, Paul from Ireland. Someday would love to hear your take on That's Life, Sinatra. Okay, well, I got a couple of requests. There was a request earlier, too, for Pennies from Heaven, both of which would be fun to learn because I don't usually play those pieces, but that's okay. We'll learn them together. And the sound is fabulous. Thank you, Peter, for the feedback. I really appreciate it. And Ton, greetings from Vietnam. Thank you for being here. Or greetings to those of you in Vietnam. All right, so let's do this. Thought process. So yeah, simple tune. So the first thing that you have to consider in this tune is that you've got 2 chords. The first one is an F major 7, so 1, 3, 5, 7, and then any extensions you want to put on top of that, like 9, right, and 13. But in this case, you have to catch the melody, right, which is the 7th and the 5th. So that's pretty simple, right? And then it just goes to E flat 7 with a sharp 11. So the soloing process and the thought process, just for those 2 things, and then it just gets into 4, 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. It's like cycle of fifths. So 4, 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. That's the rest of the tune. So it's just those 2 chords, and then 4, 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Simple, right? The turnaround is actually simpler to solo over than the 2 chords because every time you have more chords, you can just spell the chord. Right? And that kind of makes that part easy. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So in terms of these 2 chords, though, F major 7 to E flat 7. So let's take a look at what you might do. So my first thought is just simply, how do you create nice melodies out of this scale? And you can put chromatics in there too, like a passing note. Or that note is a passing note, or that note is a passing note, whatever you want. So you got 8th notes per scale, but then on top of that, you've also got blues. Right, blues scale. 1, flat 3, 4, and there's the passing note in our chromatic scale, or our Bbop scale, and then 5, flat 7, back to 1. So interestingly enough, this B natural is kind of like a passing chord in both of those, or blues scale. So then I'm just thinking melody using those two things. So and you don't have to change for E flat, because the only difference between those two chords, because it's actually F over E flat, the only difference is that the E flat has this flat 7, which you can make as part of the blues scale, or you can just kind of play around with that note a little bit and the chord. So, melodies. All I'm doing is just playing an F scale. And then you're just figuring out melodies within those two things. And then little patterns. Okay? So that's really what's going on in my head, because in my head, I'm not really even thinking too much about the chords themselves. My fingers just naturally go to those places where the chords and the scales exist. But what I'm feeling internally is, how do I make nice sounds out of those things? So soloing to me is more like this. Let me try that again. And I'm just trying to make the best music possible with just those two simple scales, this scale and this scale. The first one being the F Bbop scale, and the second one being the blues scale, also on F. And then once in a while, spelling the E chord just with the flat 7. Okay, I don't want to take all day on it, so that's what's going on in my mind at that time. Then when I get to this, that is just like I said, 4. Well, it's actually flat 5, which is 4 or sharp 4, whatever. And then the tritone substitution of E, which is B flat, and then the tritone substitution of D, which is A flat, and then the G, and then the tritone substitution or not for C7. So it's nice to catch the flat 9 on that C7 chord. So then all I do there is I've got more chords, so just kind of spell the chords. One more time. Then put the whole thing together. Back to the 2 chords. So specifically, if you want to talk about other things in there, you're going to have to ask more specific questions, because I think I've answered the question about what's going through my head when I'm playing. Yes, I'm following the changes, but over top of those changes, I'm really thinking about the best musical feeling possible while remaining within the confines of the chord and the scale that's available. Now, of course, as soon as you start playing with the band, you can really mess around with that and play outside, you know, like if the tune picks up, right? You know, it's like as soon as you got a band behind you and the bass player is plucking out these chords, right? Then you can do whatever you want on top of that. Okay. So then Steve asks, and by the way, thank you for the suggestion. That was a good one. Steve asks, can you talk about some of your tightly clustered chords in your left hand? Yeah, rootless voicings. Okay, so a quick tutorial on these rootless voicings. So let's take a 2-5-1 progression in C major. So we're going from D minor 7 to G to C. Okay. The left hand, if you play 3, 5, 7, and 9 of D, then you go to G by changing one note. So change the note on the inside. So this is D7, or D minor 7. And this is G7, so all we did was go from C to B to catch the third of the chord. So now you've got a tritone, right? And then just change the two outside notes. So here to here to here. This is a C7 13 chord. C major 7. So that's a pattern that is very useful. If we move that up, or sorry, if we move it down to B flat, you get this. So this is D minor to G7 to C. Change the C to a C minor and do it on B flat. And so these are rootless voicings. You don't need to play the root because that's what you've got a bass player for. And even if you're without a bass player, it still works, right? D minor, G7, C major 7 with the 13. C minor, F7 to B flat. And then if you wanted to keep going, change it to B flat minor, E7, E flat 7 to A flat. And then it gets too low to change that to A flat minor, so do the second inversion. Right? Because this, D minor, if you play the second inversion of that, it's up here. Still only change one note. Right? So keep the voicings as close as possible and just move either the inner voice or the outer voice to change the chord. One more time. This is the root position, 3, 5, 7, and 9 of D minor. Change one note, change the two outside notes. Go to C minor, change one note, change the two outside notes. B flat minor, change one note to E flat, change the two outside notes to get to A flat. If you want to do the second inversion of that, go from here to here to here. This is second inversion. Change one note, the bottom note, and then change, or sorry, and then just change the two insight notes, right? Okay? And that's where all of those, what you call clusters, come from. They're actually not clusters, they're just inversions of our 2-5-1 chords. So then when you're playing, you're soloing, you can do inversions of those. This E flat 7 comes directly from that pattern we just did, B flat minor to E flat 7 to A flat. So it's a very good voicing for an E flat 7 chord. Okay? And that's how that works. Steve, thank you for the question. I hope that answers it. Mark, beautiful piece. Merry Christmas, Paul from Ireland. Oh, we already had that. Did we already have that? Oh, yeah, That's Life from Frank Sinatra. Okay, both are good. Can you talk about, so this is Rich from Hawaii. He says, can you talk about shifting gears in the rhythm to the bebop side? This is something that comes up in almost all songs when you solo. That's because bebop is a cool sound. So if we're playing this tune, so to me, this is 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 2, a 1, 2, 3. So I'm already moving into bebop with my brain. It's already going, you know, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's also 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. And so, to me, it's not really bebop, it's just kind of swing, right? So you hear the swing out of this. You play this swing, right? Listen to this. This is straight. This is swing. And that's like halftime. You could also make it twice as long. So, and it really depends. As long as you tell the bass player what you're doing or the bass player can hear it, that's great. But you're just, out of straight time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I like this comment. from Greg. He says, never ever get bored with Christmas Time is Here. Love that tune. It takes me back as a kid to watching Snoopy on a black and white television. Yeah, exactly. A lot of us didn't have color televisions at the time. Even though color was available, a lot of us didn't have that yet. My family, I don't think at the time even had a TV. I probably watched it at the neighbors. Let's shift gears a little bit. I'm going to wait for a few more questions. One of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to play you the arrangement. Nancy?
Can I say Merry Christmas?
Do you want to say Merry? Nancy wants to say Merry Christmas. Yeah, come on. You have to sit here though, and talk into the mic.
No.
Hi, this is Nancy.
I just wanted to wish everyone. I wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And I feel that I know a lot of you personally because I sit on chat. I get to know you a little bit, so it's nice. And I know this is our last one for the season. Yeah. But we'll be back in January. So we'll see you then. I just came to say goodbye to this guy. I have to go run errands, last minute errands. Okay. Bye, guys. And ladies.
And that was Nancy. Oh, yeah. What was I doing? She distracted me. Now I've got things to remember. Right. So what I wanted to do was for the sheet music download, and I'll let Fabrizio, I'll let Nancy know that everybody says Merry Christmas. And Mele Kelikima. I love that tune, by the way. I posted the sheet music link at the top of the chat. If you haven't downloaded it yet, it's pinned right to the very top of the chat. But I wanted to play you so where that arrangement came from. So I'm going to play it from this album. And we'll listen to a little bit of it together. And I'll move the sheet music along as I do it. So I'm going to pull up the sheet music here. And basically what you're looking at on the screen right now is the sheet music that you downloaded, and I'm going to get it right. Here we go. There. And I'll follow along the sheet music as best I can. I'll move it down as we hear the arrangement. So let's start the actual recording. Here we go. Hopefully you can hear this. Let me play a little bit of it, and you can tell me if you can't hear it or not. And I'll let it play. I'm pretty sure you can hear it, so I'll play it, and then if you can't hear it, you'll let me know. All right, here we go. So then it just gets into the piano solo. And now I'm going to just take this off your screen. So that's the sheet music you downloaded. Unfortunately, the piano solo is not going to be included with the free download. If you want that, I sent everybody an email to get that along with the backing track so you can play with the band in an email. And it's basically 50% off. Actually, let me post a link to it here. so that you can go and grab that if you want to. It's completely up to you. I think it's great to have. I love the backing track that I made for this. I'll play you the backing track in just a second. Let me copy this whole thing. And I'll post this in the chat area right now. So basically use the coupon code that I've got there and that link, and you can take 50% off the whole package. Let me play the backing track for you because it's kind of cool. Listen to this. So basically there's a count off, and then you play along with the bass and drums. Watch. Okay, so it's complete. So the whole arrangement is there. So there's a couple of choruses that you can solo over that the band keeps playing. So it's kind of fun. I hope some of you take me up on that offer. Okay, Ian says, it did look like Nancy with the laughing face. Thank you for that comment. Can you show how you might provide some accompaniment for a singer? Example, what range of keyboard to keep out of the way of the singer, and what rhythmic comping patterns might you often use for accompanying? Okay. Well, that's a really loaded question. So if I'm playing with the singer, once in a while I might quote the melody, but I never want to get in the singer's way. So if there's a singer singing this tune, what I might do is, and it depends. If I'm playing by myself with the singer, then that's a different style of playing than with the band. If I'm playing with the band, the bass player's got this covered. And I might comp like this. I wish I was a better singer, or I could give you an example of this singing. Fills now and then. So that's, and of course I'd be using two hands, right? I don't think you can get in the singer's way even if you play up here. It's nice when you play up here. Christmas time is here. Not lower. Christmas time. Christmas time is here. Happiness and cheer. Fun for all. Something, something. I don't know the words. Right? So you can play a lot of stuff, just don't get in the singer's way. Singers, as soon as you start playing melody against them, they get confused because sometimes what they want to do is sing a different note than the actual melody dictates. Like they may be improvising. So it depends on obviously the sophistication and experience of the singer, but number one rule for them, don't get in their way because they don't like it when you do that. And I've played with a lot of singers in my career. I don't do it anymore, but I've played with dozens. And everyone is different. And I think like I said, my number one rule is to be tasty, right? Without too much. just comping, right? Bass player's doing this. So, Ian, I think the range question is, range doesn't matter. You can go anywhere on the piano. Just don't play really loud. Like, be tasteful behind the singer and fill in where she's not singing. So if she's singing this, here's what you want to do. Right? I'm just filling in the blanks. There's no blanks to fill here. And you got some space here. Okay. Rhythmic comping patterns, it definitely swing, right? Think of the and of 4 and the and of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 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 3, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 4. Let me show you. And so then other rhythmic patterns come out of that feel. Right? So keep that backbeat 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and the and of 4 and the and of 2 is the anticipation, and that's where swing comes from. So that's where the rhythmic comping patterns come from. And I think that'll help with that question. So Tina asks, could you explain how to do an introduction using a vamp? 1 or 2 chords and which chords to choose. Okay, well, in a tune like this, if you were going to play it swing, because a vamp doesn't really work for a ballad like this. You just start the tune. If you want to do an introduction, you could do maybe do the last few bars. And then start the tune. If you were playing it swing, then that's a different story. I think in this particular case that a vamp over a pedal chord would work. So think when you're thinking pedal to start a tune, think about the first chord, which is F, and then think of the dominant 7th chord for F, which is C7, right? And what you want to do is you want to hold that down, hold the pedal down on the left hand, and then vamp using whatever chords you like. You could play the entire head of each of the chords just over this, like F major 7, E flat 7. You could even play the 3, 6, 2, 5. Listen. So let's do an introduction. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. And it's nice, the vamp resolves. You end on the C7 chord, whatever version of that you want, and then. So let's do that one more time. Okay. If you were going to play a different type of vamp, what I would suggest is just a couple of chords. So what you could play is just the F and the E flat. Although, because the tune is F and E flat, it may or may not work. Let's try it. I think it's less effective than throwing down the dominant chord. Because there's a lot of tension there built up with all of those chords over one root pedal. And then when you resolve it to the one chord, it's just it just feels like it resolves, which is kind of cool to start the tune. Peter got some feedback on that one, so it's a nice idea. Yeah, I think so. Thank you. So people are saying they got the download. That's good. Ton says, I love Red Garland comping, but sometimes I can't maintain my rhythmic pulse. If you can't maintain your rhythmic pulse, it's because you don't have swing in your soul yet. So it's really just, like I said, it's about the and of 4 and the and of 2. 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2. Right? It's and of 4, and of 2. Swing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll never get tied up once that's in your soul. So if you can't maintain beat, it's just because you don't have that in you yet. It'll come. Just keep working on your swing and doing a lot of listening. That would be really helpful. Jerry says, Paul, thanks for the Saturday masterclasses and the private monthly masterclasses. You're welcome. You have been giving this year. Hope for more of the same in 2025. Yes, absolutely. You're welcome. Tina says, thank you, Paul. I liked the swing inversion. I used the vamp on Here Comes Santa Claus. Sorry, I didn't explain enough. Yeah, Here Comes Santa Claus. Give me a second. Yeah, so if it's something like Here Comes Santa Claus, I think the vamp on the pedal works as well. Got to remind myself of the tune here. So, I really like the pedal at the top. If you want to play a vamp for that, and I'm sticking to the key of F for now because I think it's just easier for everybody to kind of not shift gears. But if you want to play a vamp, it could be just 1-6-2-5, I think. Actually, 1-6-2-5, 3-6-2-5. Listen to this. And then use a jazz cliche, line cliche. Let's do that one more time. Okay, now we got it. Let's do it one more time. So I think whether it's a vamp or a pedal, I would use those in the context of tunes that have rhythm. So you don't want to be playing, vamps unless it was a really slow vamp. For example, let's do there's different types of vamps. Like, let's say we're doing Most Wonderful Time of the Year, right? So this is in 3/4 time. 2, 3, 1. Okay. So that's a different thing, right? So what you would do there in my world is you would figure out an introduction that was, if you wanted to use a vamp, I would do pedal here. Right? It's like, so one more time. Interestingly enough, I improvised on this tune the other night during the Christmas concert. I'm not sure how many of you heard it. If you did actually show up to the Christmas concert or watch the replay, let me know in the chat area. I would love to see if you actually heard it. And if you're looking for like great ideas on Christmas arrangements, check out that. It's on YouTube, the replay. You can watch it anytime if you haven't seen it. But let me know if you have. I played this tune the other night, and I played it in E flat, and I played an interesting introduction that came out of nowhere. And I did this sort of, the bell chimes of a church, right? So I used that vamp to start the tune, and I did it something like this. It's probably not the same, but. And I also kind of played it at the end as well. And so a vamp can be anywhere on the keyboard. The thing is about the piano is you've got this whole orchestra, and it's nice to play. It's kind of like very, what's the word I'm looking for? Lullaby, like bedtime lullaby up here. I think we don't use the piano enough. And then when I got into the solo section, it was interesting because I did things like this. Right? So all I'm doing there is just playing inversions of chords, right? So instead of playing the melody, you're playing just chord inversions like this, like E flat to C to F to B flat. And it makes a really, really nice sound. Just kind of keep the pedal down quite a bit and just kind of lay down these just different inversions of the chords. And I'm not really even playing outside. I mean, yeah, there's a little sidestepping here and there where I do things like this. You know, a little sidestepping outside the key, but very rarely, because, you know, the tune is such a beautiful tune, you want to keep the essence of the tune intact. Yeah. I got so lost in that, I'm not even sure whose question that was again. But if you can help me out and let me know that you got what you needed out of that. Maybe it was too much, I don't know. Greg says, I love the pedal tones and overtones. Yeah, very nice. Rich says, that was one of my favorite moments from the Christmas concert. Oh, glad somebody was there. Excellent. Good. All right. So I talked about playing with the singer. And by the way, thank you so much for your questions. It's been really great doing this stuff. We've got, maybe 15 more minutes. I'm going to hang out with you a little bit because, it's fun. Hopefully you can stay with me for a bit. Make sure you get the sheet music. And also, I sent you an email about the full arrangement, backing track, and everything for Carol of the Bells. So please check that out. At least go check it out so that you can say you checked it out. And if you don't think it's for you, then that's cool. But I think it's totally worth it. Half price, which is nice. I'm just going back through the chat to see if I missed anything. I'm going to check something out here. Give me 1 second. I'll be right with you. I just want to make sure. I'm actually looking for something, and because I had a request earlier for Pennies from Heaven, and wanted to make sure that I had a copy of it. So let's learn it together. We'll play a little bit. So this is me when I haven't played a tune in a long time. I kind of check out the sheet music, and it doesn't matter whether it's a lead sheet or I got something off MuseScore or whatever, but I'm just kind of relearning a tune. So let me put the PDF up here. Here we go. So this Pennies from Heaven. And so I'll just kind of like remind myself of the tune. Okay, so right away I can tell that these chords aren't typically what I would play. So my first thought is to start reharmonizing it. So passing chord before E minor, F7 before E minor. This is okay. And then use a tritone sub before C. So there, C to F, E flat to, I would probably A flat 7 instead of E flat diminished. Actually, I might even... and a 2-5. I would say, and then scroll down to the second A section, see what happens there. Yeah, so see, they did that. They put an F7 in there. Go from, so on this bar here, this is F. I don't know if you can't really see that. So F, and then the next bar is B flat. Right, so then you got this kind of thing here. Probably 6 diminished scale. And then swing it. Yeah, 2-5 of C, sorry. Then I would use a tritone substitution. And then the ending. And then whatever soloing you wanted to do. Yeah, it's a kind of a, it's not never been one of my favorite tunes, but at least that's kind of my thought process when I approach something like that. Is just try to find the right chords, because the real book is not a good, like I certainly wouldn't play C to D minor. Just doesn't, I don't know. I mean, it's okay. I would prefer. Because you get the sharp 11, right? Right? So just always searching for the best quality jazz chord in the moment. Okay. Hopefully that helps. At least I did one song request from the... Actually, I've done a few. I did Santa Claus is Coming to Town, right? Yeah, nice reharm. I even see, and Lightning says, I even see some reharm start with the tritone sub on the first chord and walk down a half step. I like that. So tritone sub on first chord. Oh yeah, so F half diminished seventh. You can't use a tritone sub there because that would be F7. Well, I guess it works. Yeah, that works. I would say F half diminished seventh, F sharp half diminished seventh, rather than F7. It's a little harsh. Okay, Rich says, would love to hear your interpretation of my favorite things. Okay, we'll finish with that. I probably won't need sheet music for that. So let's take this off the screen. And let's play a little My Favorite Things. It might take me a minute, but we'll get there. Kind of took me a minute to get into it, but yeah, my favorite things. Hopefully that worked for you. It's been a while since I've done that one for sure, but it turned into something at the end there. But you can see kind of how my brain works. As soon as I start to feel the music, it kind of takes me places. Interestingly enough, it's in 3/4 time, right? But I played it in 4. Right? So you can do that with tunes. You don't have to play in the key signature, in the time signature that was suggested, which is obviously 3/4, which it is. It's a waltz. But it's also nice to kind of just switch it up and play it differently. Okay. Very nice. Could you tell what I could tell you were feeling it. Yeah, I was. I got there eventually. Yeah. Bass line with that jazz soloing is what the late Dave McKenna did with everything when playing solo piano. Dave was from Providence, Rhode Island. He was featured in Boston playing at a Loco hotel. Yeah, I know who Dave McKenna is. Absolutely. Hey, Peter from Italy. Nice to see you again. Sorry you were late today. So I think that's it for today. Make sure you grab the sheet music at the top of the chat area because I'm going to take it down as soon as this is over. And I just wanted to just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I hope next year is a great jazz year for you. Let me play one quick thing because I have the time. And then we'll go. I'm just going to play you a Christmas carol because I grew up in the church. My dad was a United Church minister. And after this, I'm going to call it a day. But this is just a little bit of O Little Town of Bethlehem. Okay, that's it for this year. If you're a subscriber here at Jazz Mental channel, it's great to have you. I've had a great year, and we're going to take a break over the Christmas holidays and the New Year's holidays, and we'll see you back here in January. I'm not exactly sure which Saturday I'm going to start back. It's either the first Saturday or the second Saturday in January. I will send you an email. If you're not on the list, go to jazzmental.com and join the list, and we will see everybody in the new year. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Take care.